Penguin Random House Audio presents The Crane Wife, a memoir in essays. This is the author, C.J. Hauser. In gratitude for the family we are given, the families we are choosing, and ideas of home with room enough for both. Stumbling again, dumbly home into the line of my own questioning. Forrest Gander, tell them no. Part 1. Sometimes not even our mouths belong to us. Listen, in the early 1920s, women were paid to paint radium onto watch dials so that men wouldn't have to ask the time in dark alleys. They were told it was safe, told to lick their brushes into sharp points. These women painted their nails, their faces, and judged whose skin shined brightest. They coated their teeth so their boyfriends could see their bites with the lights turned down. The miracle here is not that these women swallowed light. It's that when their skin dissolved and their jaws fell off, the Radium Corporation claimed they all died from syphilis. It's that you're telling me about the dull slivers of dead saints, while these women are glowing beneath our feet. Paige Lewis, The Moment I Saw a Pelican Devour. Blood. 27 Love Stories. 1. Put Your Boots On, 1918. Cap Joyce was a cowboy who ran an Arizona dude ranch called the Spur Cross because acting like a cowboy for tourists was more lucrative than the actual herding of cattle. He had a trick horse named Patches that could bow, roll over, and nod the answers to math questions. Sometimes Cap stood on Patches' back and played guitar. Then the Great War came. He sold Patches and left his wife in charge of the ranch and went off to fight in France, where he was mustard-gassed but survived and was heavily bemedaled for the trouble. He was my great-grandfather. Cap had been home a week when the ranch hands took him aside and said that his wife had been carrying on with the foreman. They wouldn't have mentioned it, the ranch hands said, except they didn't seem to be stopping. Cap said, "Where is he?" Cap went to the bunks. The foreman was dressing. "You fuck my wife?" Cap said. The man froze. "Yes," he said. Cap said, "Put your boots on." The foreman put on his boots. Cap shot him dead. He did not bleed much, they say. 2. Union Maid, 1984. My first kiss was a communist. His name was Jack. He was part of a kids' play group in New York City. All the mothers were part of the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, except for mine. Her involvement remains a mystery. In the playgroup, the babies crawled over the carpet, and the mother shared pots of coffee, and by and large the babies were naked, and if they were not naked, they were wearing overalls. Good communist babies wear overalls. Here are some of the things that I wore. A tiny pair of lederhosen, Germany. A real silk kimono with a red bird stitched on the breast, Japan. A rabbit fur coat with wood fasteners, Russia. My grandparents had been traveling and always sent me, the first grandchild, souvenirs. There is a picture of this first kiss. Jack in overalls is on hands and knees, long black hair in ringlets. I am practically bald, bending toward him, hands planted on the rug. I am wearing a pink velveteen jacket. Paris. A week later, the union lady said, "You can't keep coming here if you dress her like that." The week after, my mother brought me to the group in the rabbit fur coat, not thinking the union ladies were serious. They were. 3. The Land Office, 1921. When Cap got out of prison, he went to the land office with a mind to start a new ranch in Wyoming. There was a woman at the front desk, a secretary. Her name was Robbie Baker. "Can I help you?" she said. "I'm gonna marry you," Cap said, "and I need some land." That was my great-grandmother. 4. Bee Sting, 1989. Brian Catrumbis could run faster than any boy in kindergarten and had hair like corn silk. It was Valentine's Day. A week earlier, when I'd been stung by a bee while daydreaming out the window and then cried quietly, not knowing what to do, it was Brian Catrumbis who told the teacher that something was wrong with me. He poked the teacher and said, "Something is wrong with her." I'd picked out a very special Valentine for Brian Catrumbis. I wore a Band-Aid over my small wound the day I watched him open his envelopes, waiting to see how he would receive my card. But Brian Catrumbis had a system. He ripped open each envelope and then shook it, so whatever candy was inside tumbled out onto his carpet square. Then he tossed the Valentine away, like shucking peas. 5. Trades, 1932. Cap and Robbie married. They spent the Depression living out of a car with their 2 sons. One of these sons was my grandfather, Eddie. Cap drove across the country, trading with native peoples. He offered ad space for their trading posts in his Wild West magazine in exchange for the tourist-intended crafts, headdresses, bows, and beads. Cap later sold these crafts or traded them for food. Fake Indian crafts. Fake cowboy magazines. What did Robbie think about all this? I ask. Where's the woman in this story? Robbie stuck with him the whole time, my family says. A job came through for Cap in New York. Cap hated the city, the job. He drank. This is a family tradition that filters through the generations. We hate things, so we drink. We love things, so we drink. We have bad luck, so we drink. We fear good luck, so we drink. It has to do with the kind of sadness that is blood-borne. My mother keeps a scrap of paper taped to her diary, a quote from Yeats that reads, "Being Irish, he had an abiding sense of tragedy, which sustained him through temporary periods of joy." And the first time I read that line, it hummed over my mind like a diviner's stick. Cap almost landed a role in a cowboy movie, but was beat out for the part by Tom Mix. Cap was disappointed. He drank. But about Robbie, I say, did she want Cap to be an actor? Still, Robbie stuck, my family says. I want to learn from what went wrong in the past, but sometimes it seems everything worth knowing has been redacted, as if ignorance is the only thing that allows each successive generation to tumble into love, however briefly, and spawn the next. 6. All cacti are succulents, but not all succulents are cacti. 1994. My parents go on vacation to Arizona. They bring back souvenir cacti for my sister, Leslie, and me. Little furry stumps potted in gravel. Within a month, both of our cacti are dead. My sister's cactus is desiccated and shrunken, dead of thirst. Mine is slumped over, rotten through. I have overwatered and flooded the roots. Our parents exchange a look, as if they know already that love will not be easy for us, that we are differently but equally screwed. 7. As Sure as These Stones, 1948. My grandparents met in the theater. Cap failed to become an actor, but years later his teenage son, my grandfather Eddie, would play the role of crippled boy healed by a miracle in a play at the Blackfriars Guild. Maureen Jarry was the props mistress. She was older than he was. We still don't know by how much. She refuses to say. Eddie lied about his age, of course. He told her he was 20. Maureen told him to buzz off. At the time, she was dating the lead actor, older and quite successful. My grandfather has always been a persistent son of a bitch. He worked on my grandmother for weeks. Nothing. Then this happened. One of the props for the play was a handful of gravel Maureen gathered from the empty lot behind the theater each night. In the final scene of the play, the lead actor's character
Sample complete. Ready to continue?